Hello YouTube family, welcome to Peggy Joe's Kitchen and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well today. Today I will be making homemade chicken enchiladas with a flour tortilla. I'll come back and show you the ingredients that you'll need to make this recipe. Stay tuned. Okay, so the ingredients that you'll need to make this dish will be a combination of different peppers. I have here a jalapeno pepper, an orange bell pepper, green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, one small onion, and I have some garlic cloves, and I'm going to be using the McCormick enchilada sauce along with a canned enchilada sauce. You can get whatever brand that you prefer. And then I'm going to use the Mission flour tortilla shells. I'll be using a little bit of the chicken broth, and of course the star of the show, boneless, skinless chicken breast. And the spices that I'll be using will be lemon pepper, onion powder, celery salt, black pepper, and seasoned salt. So I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken washed up, and I'll get you guys over to the stove and we'll start to put things together. So the one thing that I forgot to mention was that whenever I brought my peppers home, before I put them in the refrigerator, I sprayed them with the Arm & Hammer fruit and vegetable wash. You just want to spray them really good, and once you spray them, you want to rinse them. I've already done mine, but this is a really good vegetable and fruit wash by Arm & Hammer. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my peppers and everything cut up, and I'll meet you at the stove. Be right back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get my chicken seasoned up, and I have my oven preheating on convection bake. And if you don't have convection bake, just go ahead and bake it on regular. So I have it at set for 375 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and put a little seasoning salt. And you can boil your chicken if you like. I just tend to like mine baked. I feel like I'm boiling some of the flavor out if it's boiled. So I just like to do mine in the oven. So I'm putting onion powder, celery salt, black pepper, seasoned salt, and lemon pepper on both sides of the chicken. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil down in my pan, in my glass dish. And I'm going to bake it in the glass dish. Turn it over. Season this just the way you did the other side. Black pepper, seasoning salt, and lemon pepper. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put it down in my baking dish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven as soon as it preheats, and I will come back and show you the next step. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our sauce, our enchilada sauce ready. And I'm using um, chicken broth. It's 1.5 cups of chicken broth. Pour that in. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and whisk in my McCormick enchilada sauce. And whisk until you don't have any lumps, till you don't see any lumps in it. And then I'm going to put in about 6 ounces of crushed tomatoes. Go ahead and stir that up. And then I'm going to add 1 can of enchilada sauce. And this is a 28-ounce can. And I'm not going to use all of this in this recipe. I'll be making some beef enchiladas, so I'm going to make some extra sauce for that. But I'm only going to make the chicken right now. And when it comes to making my sauces like this, I go ahead and make more than what I need. So I'll have it when it's time to make my other enchiladas. Okay, so you go ahead and get that stirred up. And remember, it's gonna be a little bit thicker because you'll add some meat to it. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that simmer down. And I'll get my skillet heated up so that I can saute my vegetables. Okay. Okay. We'll come back when the skillet is good and hot, and we'll go ahead and saute our vegetables. Okay, so my skillet is hot. Go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil in the skillet. And we'll put our seasoning. This is bell pepper, green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, orange bell pepper, and garlic. And 1 jalapeno pepper. And the sauce is looking really nice. And what I'm going to do, once the chicken is done, then I'm not going to cook the chicken all the way done. It's going to be probably 80% done. And I'll go in and I will chop it up. I think I may do it in my food processor. I'll get the chicken chopped up, and then I'll add the chicken to the vegetables, and then we will add our sauce. Go ahead and put all of these in here. That way I'll have them ready for the next dish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this sauteed up, and we'll come back when the chicken is ready to incorporate into the skillet. Okay, so the chicken has baked for 40 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and take it out. And there we are. Let's go ahead and turn the oven off. And I'm going to let the chicken rest for a few minutes. I don't want to cut right into it. And see, it made a really nice broth. And that's going to go into the enchilada sauce. That's why I don't like boiling mine. When you bake it, you really get all the flavors. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let it rest for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and show you guys how I'm going to cut it up. I may shred it, and if that works, but if it doesn't work, then I will go ahead and do it in the food processor. So we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken shredded up. See the juice that's coming from it? So you just take 2 forks and just kind of pull it. I think I'm going to cut it with the knife as well. Okay, let's see how the knife is going to do. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the skillet reheated. And we're going to add our meat to the vegetables. Ooh, that's still hot. Okay, let's go ahead and add that chicken to the vegetables. Let's get this other breast. Put the juice on it. And just kind of pull the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and go off camera and finish shredding the chicken, and I'll bring you back when I'm getting ready to put it together. Okay, so we have the meat and all the seasonings, the vegetables in the skillet. And go ahead and get all that stirred up, mixed up really well. This chicken is screaming for some enchilada sauce. And the enchilada sauce has been simmering. It's good and rich. Let me show you what the sauce looks like. Oh yeah. The sauce looks really good. And now I'm going to pour some sauce into my meat. It's got some chunks of tomato. I use the crushed tomatoes. That makes a really hearty sauce. Okay, let's stir that up. You don't want to put too much sauce in your meat. You want it to be thick enough where you can roll it in your tortilla shells. Because we're going to add sauce to the bottom of the dish. And I'm going to use, let's see what size this is. It is a 13 by 12. $13 by 9 by 2, I'm sorry. 13 by 9. Okay, let's put a little bit more sauce. Now, if you don't like the sauce stirred into your meat, you can put your meat on your meat and your cheese, and I guess if you like onion, you can put that onto your shell and then roll it up. Well, first you want to dip your shell into the enchilada sauce. I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I probably should have left some chicken unsauced so I can show you. But you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. I'll explain it. All right. And I'm going to get some gloves on so that I can work with the sauce and the meat. I'll come right back. Okay, so we want to take the enchilada sauce, give it a good stir again. And you want to pour or just scoop a couple scoops of sauce down in the bottom of your baking dish. Okay, and spread it evenly. And I'll put a little bit more. Okay. And then you want to, let me make sure you guys can see. Okay, so you want to go ahead and dip your shell into the sauce. Okay, then take some meat. Put you some meat in there. And then sprinkle some cheese on top. And then roll it up. And you want the seam to be at the bottom. I hope you all can see this. Okay, so now you take another enchilada. I'm sorry, tortilla shell, and dip it. Put you some meat. And add a little cheese. Roll it up. Okay, that's one way of doing it. So the other way is just to go ahead and put the meat into the shell without dipping it, because I already have some sauce on my meat. The way that I was showing you guys would be if you didn't have any sauce on your meat. Okay. You just keep filling them up. Put as many as you can into your pan, into your baking dish. Cheese. Roll it up. Because I'm going to, there's sauce down in the bottom, and I'm going to pour sauce on top of the enchiladas too. So that's why I like putting the sauce on my meat. It's a little bit easier to work with than putting sauce on your shell and then rolling it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do one more, and then I will go off camera, and then I'll bring you guys back whenever I get them all in the pan and show you what it looks like with the sauce and the cheese on top. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this one up. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so now it's time to put the sauce on the enchiladas. So you just want to pour it on top. Make sure you cover them all. Especially your end pieces, because you don't want those to get hard. Okay, and now do the same to the I'll make a count and see how many enchiladas those 2 chicken breasts were able to yield. You want them good and saucy and cheesy. All right. Just make sure that they're all covered in the sauce. All right. And now, and I'm using, it's a Mexican blend shredded cheese. And then you go in and you cover all the enchiladas with a nice amount of cheese. And you want to put it in an oven preheated to 350 degrees. And you want to bake for about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Whenever the cheese and the sauce is bubbling, then you want to go ahead and take them out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 16. I was able to make 16 out of those 2 chicken breasts. And that's because I put the vegetables. I cut up the vegetables, the onion, bell pepper, and garlic, And so those 2 chicken breasts, let's get a little bit more cheese and put on. Because you want to make sure it's covered really good with your cheese. That's what makes the enchiladas so good. All that hot melted cheese. All right. And there we go. So like I said, 350 degrees for 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how your stove bakes. And you want to make sure that the cheese is nice and bubbly. That's how you can tell that it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in. And we'll come back and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes and they are ready. I went a little bit longer on my time. Because I had quite a bit of enchiladas in at one time. They're good and hot and bubbling. I can hear them. Okay, so we're going to kind of dress them up a little bit. We'll sprinkle some chopped green onion on top. And I'm going to have to let them sit for a little while before I go ahead and cut one and taste it for you guys. So let's just go ahead and let it cool off a little bit and we'll come back and taste it. I can hardly wait. All right, it's time to plate it up and taste. Let's see, which one do I want? I think I'll get the one on the end over here. Let's see. Okay. That looks delicious. Let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to put a little bit of sour cream on top. Put a few dollops of sour cream. Alrighty. So hungry, I don't know where to start. Okay. Let me do y'all a close-up so you can see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and cut it. See the chicken in there? All right, let's see. Man, that is so good. Mmm. Mmm. Man, that's tasty. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every time I upload a video. Thank you guys so much for sticking in there. If you watched the whole video, give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate you all. Bye.